Hello, good people, and welcome to the Heaven Earth Church podcast. This is the church where we look to make a lasting impact in our community. I am one of the producers of the podcast. My name is Brad Miller, and one of the joys we have here at Heaven Earth Church is to connect up with people in our community, people who attend, are part of the church, and they use this podcast as a tool to try to reach out and extend the good news about people in our community to others who maybe kind of check us out and see what Heaven Earth Church is all about. And so it's really a privilege today that we have Jenn Rice with us today here on the Heaven Earth Church podcast to learn more about her and about her connections, about her life, and what's going on with her, and about her connections here to Heaven Earth Church. Jenn, welcome to our conversation.
Morning.
Yeah, great to have you with us. Hey, Jenn, Jenn is short for what?
Jennifer.
For Jennifer, and Jennifer Rice, or Jenn Rice, and she, as everybody around here knows her, as Jenn. And so glad you've been with the church here for several months.
5 months.
5 months, 6 months, something like that, and getting involved right away. Some of the small groups and some of the regular tender and worship and some of the other things that we have going on around here. But it's a good opportunity for us to get to know a little bit more about you. So let's just start with hometown. Where are you from? A little bit about that for you.
Yeah, I am proud to say my hometown is Union City, Indiana, on the Indiana and Ohio border. Half the towns on one side, half towns on the other. Super.
Oh, yeah, that's literally one of those towns where the border of the state goes right through it. There's 2 or 3 towns like that. I know.
Yeah. Time change is fun.
Yeah. You ever heard of the town over there, that part of the world called College Corner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a similar thing there.
Okay.
Yeah, in that town, I'm sorry to interrupt. In that town, the funny thing about that town I found out is that they built the high school literally on the border of Indiana and Ohio,
Yeah.
and the center court line of the basketball court of the old high school is the state line. So there you go. But I'm sorry to hear. You're from Union City, Indiana. Tell me something about growing up in Union City.
It's a wonderful town to grow up in. Small town. We had maybe 79 in my graduating class. So, you could be an important person if you wanted to be. Safe town. You could. Yeah. We rode our bikes everywhere. Uptown to the pool. Played all night long. Great time.
Yeah.
Good neighbors. Mm-hmm.
And it sounded like you were involved with things, as you said, what you wanted to be involved with. What were some of the things you were involved with your family or the school growing up?
Yeah, lots of stuff in the school. Always in the convocations and the plays, and I had a job when I was 16 at a drugstore. A lot of times in student council, particularly in the choir, just stuff like that.
All that kind of thing. Do you have mom, dad, brothers, sisters?
Mom, dad, one sister.
Yeah.
Good family. Yeah.
Awesome. So from Union City, where did life take you from there?
I went to Ball State.
Okay.
I have a degree in special ed, teaching the deaf. But when I graduated, I decided that the teaching aspect wasn't what I really wanted to do. I was more interested in maybe helping parents with a newly discovered deaf child, something like that. But I took what I thought was a temporary job for an insurance company in downtown Indy, and ended up staying there 4 years. And then I had my children, and I was basically an at-home mom for the most part. My husband, I knew in school. We started dating my junior year in high school. We dated all through college, which is difficult. I was at Ball State. He was at Rose-Hulman in Terre Haute. So we had to get through that.
Right.
Finally got to marry him. And we've lived in the Indianapolis area for a number of years, and Brown County for about 27 or 8.
And your husband's name and how long you been married?
His name is Dave Rice. Been married, been together 50 years between dating and married. Married about 46.
Wow.
Long time.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome in and of itself. Well, that's wonderful. And you've got some children.
Yeah, we have 2 children. My son Evan is 41. My daughter's 39. She lives with us. My son lives in Indianapolis also with his wife, who's a hairdresser.
Okay.
They have 2 children of their own, adopted daughter, guardianship of another teen, and their grandmother lives with them, so he's a busy guy.
All right, I guess.
Yeah.
So you've done the marriage aspect. You've had a bit of a career, not a bit. You've had a significant career, and you've had a life with raising your children and grandchildren now. So you've got some things going on with your family, and then you've lived in the Indianapolis area for most of the last 40 something years. Is that what you said? Yeah, and then some years ago you landed in Brown County, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We were there for 7 years, moved back to Indy area for another 7, and then we've been here since.
Yeah. So you've been living in Brown County for
28 only. Yeah.
wow, and so that's just better context. That's 25 plus miles from where we go to church here, something like that. I don't know
It takes me
exactly.
37 minutes. I don't know what the
Yeah.
mileage is.
Okay. But I mean, it's not a hop, skip, and a jump. It's it's a little
It's as
drive.
close as anything.
Yeah. There you go.
Everything 45 minutes, so it's
Well,
as
yeah.
close as anything.
And so, but but good. But tell me something cool about living in the rural area of Brown County.
We love where we live. We've been our church right before this one was an hour away.
Okay.
So, but we just never felt to move because we love it there so much. We live on 17 wooded acres, have a pond. My husband is a reloader and target shooter.
Okay.
So he's got a range on the property, and he can reload something, test it out on the porch, come back in and adjust things. And it's just a nice place to live, very peaceful.
Yeah. So not many neighbors around. You're kind of in your own
We have
place.
a little lane of 7 houses.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Well, good. Sound like you've got what many might say kind of the idyllic rural life. And that's good. Well, tell me a little bit about your faith life or church life, both growing up and in an adult life.
Yeah.
Let's kind of start growing up. Did you grow up in church?
I did not grow up in church.
Okay.
My husband did. We didn't, as a married couple, didn't go to church until our son was about a year old, and we thought that was probably the responsible thing to do as parents, is get
Okay.
children in church. So we started going to a Methodist church. Ralph and Lucy Hill. Ralph was the pastor of that church at the time. So we went there. Sometime later, joined another church, a very small body, small enough that they really didn't have a pastor. So my husband and another man kind of co-pastored the church through this time. Unfortunately, there was a leader in that church, a narcissistic man. Anyway, it didn't go well.
Yeah.
It didn't end well.
So there's some sort of a conflict in the
There was some
church.
trauma there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not God's fault in any way. And then the last 10 years we've been at a church in Columbus, and I had no issue with that church. Still like the people, like the church, but Lucy, we kind of reconnected, had lost touch a little bit, reconnected, and she said, well, until I go to Florida, would you like to come to church with me for a few weeks? So we just kind of spend some time together. And so I came here, but not expecting, really, not searching for another church, but not expecting to love it, which I did.
Yeah.
And
Well, let's go back to some of that initial experience there. So you didn't grow up in church. You got involved with church. It sounds like you were pretty involved with church, and including navigating a traumatic experience. And unfortunately, that's not an uncommon experience for people to have traumatic church experiences. And then Lucy Hill invited you to check out HeavenEarth Church. And so tell me a little bit about some first impressions and about some initial reactions when you came to HeavenEarth Church. I assumed you came with Lucy?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. My first impression was that it was much smaller. The church I'd been attending had maybe 500 people in it, which I never could get comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
The small group was really appealing to me. The more casual nature of it. I loved Ross's sermons. Was really connecting with the idea of the love God, love people, the emphasis on that, the emphasis on community, which is something that had just really been stirring in my heart just right before I came. And so, all the talk of community and knowing what he was doing with the community and what the church was doing, and just the sense of community within the church and on the outside, was a real draw for me. And that was both a blessing and a difficulty because my husband's still involved with the church I just left,
Okay.
and so that's not ideal for us right
Right.
now. But that's where we are.
Sound like you're kinda
We're okay.
navigating that or making it work in one way or another. Yeah. So it's a little bit of what got you attracted here, and a little bit some of the points that were interesting to you. What keeps you here?
Oh gosh, just the continued community and the love and I guess the biggest draw for me is reconstructing who Jesus is and his heart that I see emphasized a lot here,
Mm,
and his love and his heart behind all of the teachings. I tend to be a rule follower and wanna know the rules, where here I'm learning more of the heart and the heart behind the
yeah,
rules.
interesting. You used a couple really interesting, terminologies and phrases there I think I wanna unpack with you a little bit, Jen. Talk about rebuilding, reconstruction, reframing. So that kinda indicates that there was, uh, kind of some set of understandings about Jesus and about your life of faith
Yes.
that you have been in the process of maybe tearing down, not tearing down in the sense of destroying, but
Right.
tearing down to reconstruct it.
That is right, yes.
Is that a fair way
It
of
is.
putting it?
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about that experience for you in terms of how you have come to understand your relationship with Jesus, your faith life, the Holy Spirit, things of that nature, because I've got to know you as a person who really goes deep in these areas. What are you learning about yourself or about your life of faith in this reconstruction phase?
Okay. The traumatic church I hate to say the traumatic church, it wasn't the church. The
Well,
experiences
you
at
had a
that
traumatic
church.
experience there, it sounded
Yes,
like, yeah.
yes. The that constant sense of you're not good enough, you're not doing well enough, you're not enough. It took me a long time to to tear that down and rebuild who Jesus says I am.
Mhm.
And so I had to study that a lot. Um, and coming here, just that constant emphasis of you are enough. Um, God loves you where you are and will help you through the rest. That's been a real peace to my soul.
So you felt pretty affirmed in that.
Yeah.
So you kinda had relatively legalistic approach to understanding your faith and life and how, I've got to adhere to certain standards or
Yes.
certain laws or certain judgments, this type of thing.
Mhm.
And it sounds to me you're learning more about relationships, relationship building,
Yes.
and how it's a complicated, sometimes messy thing to do,
Yeah. Yeah.
and also about the primacy of grace.
Yeah.
Is that a fair understanding of some of the journey you're going through?
It is, and I would also say that I'm learning also that I couldn't for a while understand that culture changes enough through the years that some of the things that were commands at the time have evolved and aren't the same.
Hmm.
The concept is the same, but culturally, some of the reasons that those existed
Hmm.
we don't have it here
Right.
now, and so I've had to kind of relearn some of those.
Yeah. So context matters,
Yes.
both biblically, societal in our society, and with everything else, technology, and our lives, our relationships, all that kind of matters. And yet, I sense in you, Jen, that the Holy Spirit's doing a real work in you, and you've seen some manifestations of the Holy Spirit doing some work in you, in your life, in your relationship, your family, things of this nature. Would you say that's fair for one thing? And if so, how is the Holy Spirit, how has this manifestation, how's this been come to fruition? Are there any stories that you can tell about that?
Well, not coming from a Christian background as a child, um, I am I'm learning. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little lost here on my some thoughts, but I'm
No,
especially
please.
learning lately who Jesus, not only who he was and his miraculous life, and his divinity, but his humanity
Hmm.
also. And to address something you asked, um, my daughter had been ill for about 7 years with, uh, something called porphyria, which is a blood disorder, but it causes lots of other crashes in your body, and we had a lot of doctors and a lot of unanswered questions and, lots of prayers, but we had an evangelist at our church one day, and, he also prayed for her, and like I said, there've been lots of prayer for her, but this particular prayer I knew hit home, and I don't even understand, just the Holy Spirit hit something in me, and I knew that one hit home. And just within a couple of months, we were seeing all kinds of changes in her. She had been very ill, housebound, certainly, bedbound often, had to be homeschooled, that sort of thing. So it was really bad. She just felt bad all the time. But anyway, within just a few weeks, couple of months, we were just seeing changes after change after change. Some of the illnesses that she had been
And the
diagnosed
changes
with.
to the better?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The illnesses that she had been diagnosed with were retested and came back negative this time. And pretty soon she had, 2 jobs. She had graduated school, taking, pottery class, and just it was just an amazing thing to witness. And
Yeah.
so, you can't convince me ever that God's not a healer.
Yeah, and I like to call those "yay, God" moments, and, when there's something we don't quite understand, there's a mystery involved with this, and because one of the things, we learned about the life of faith and life of prayer and things like that, we have these great moments. We also have some moments like you mentioned about the church going through trauma. We have other moments when we kinda don't get it, when things go south and we don't get that either.
Yeah.
So, it sounds like you've been a person who's faced your share of things in life, and you're finding some way, both good and bad, and you're finding some ways to navigate that, and part of your experience here at Heaven Earth Church is a part of the process of helping you do that. Is that a fair thing to say?
Yes, and I'm back in studying even more than I had been,
Yeah,
back in a consistent Bible study, joining the Monday class and now the Tuesday class, getting to know people
yeah.
better that way.
Well, tell me how that's going for you. We're part of a class together, and
Mhm.
I know you're a very astute student of what is happening. But tell me about that in terms of what is valuable to you about the small group experiences that we have here at Heaven Earth Church.
Mhm. I started with the Monday group because that's where, what Lucy was with. So I met with her group, got to know those folks. I call them friends now.
Hmm.
Um, we were studying the Beatitudes, and I've discovered too the Bible Project, and learning some really deep things about the Sermon on the Mount. Um, I decided at the at the break that we took, that the church took, to join the Tuesday group then, so I would get to know them as well, just a different group of people, and I'm doing the homework. I'm taking notes on the class because I don't want to lose
Yeah,
the value of the class, and so I'm taking good notes, and it's just the way that's the way
yeah.
I do.
And you're a much better student than I am in terms of taking notes. I'll give you that. I'd certainly give you accolades that way. But it seems like you've also used this as a means to develop a deeper relationship with other people.
Yeah, yeah. I made it a point to do that. That's one thing I wanted to be sure to do when I came is because I left all my friends,
Yeah.
and so I wanted to make new friends.
And part of what I want to reflect with you about that is that just shows some initiative on your part. You're not just waiting for things to come to you. It's one thing to be, fed, it's also another thing to be feeding ourselves through the process of serving others, getting to know others, things of that nature. And so that's one of the things I want to talk to you about for a minute, Jen, in terms of how the nature of having our church, at least the intent is to ours will be a place of nurture, to be a place where people can grow interpersonally in friendships as well as uh, uh, spiritually and intellectually in their biblical knowledge and things like that. So one of the things that is even said about having our church is that this is uh, if you don't fit in church, you fit in here. Is one of the models, is one of the mottos that's said here from time to time. Out of your experience, do you think that's true? And if so, how so?
Well, it goes against my introvert nature to put myself out there to make friends. But since I've come, like I said, I made it a point to do that. So um, people have been very welcoming to me, and so I'm learning names, trying to get to know people, taking the classes. Um, it's been uh, it's been good. Yeah.
Good, because you've also been taking the foundational classes.
Yeah.
Kind of you're involved in the small groups, which is interpersonal with the foundational classes, which has to do with kind of understanding the doctrines of the church and things of that nature.
And I did listen to a lot of the sermons. I listened to the podcasts that we're doing today,
Yeah.
to get to know the nature of the kind of people who are here. And I feel like I just fit right in because of my trauma. I know there are a lot of folks in the church had some similar experiences.
Right.
I went through about 4 years of some pretty significant depression
Okay.
before I could find some medications that worked for me. And so, I'm very free to talk about that or
Yeah.
to help people who've been through that also.
And I've seen you, just observing you, seen you seeking to be not just relational, but helpful in your relationships with people.
I want to very
Yeah.
much be that.
Yeah. And so it's not just, hi, how are you? It's, really, hi, how are you? And I'm here for you.
Yeah.
At that type of thing.
Yeah. At the 2 churches ago that didn't go well, one of my gifts is the gifts of helps,
Yes.
and that was always devalued there.
Hmm.
So since I've been here, I feel that resurging, that
Yeah.
growing back.
So you took some sort of a spiritual gifts inventory type of thing, or some way to discern your spiritual gifts. Well, that is awesome to know. In terms of the life of the church, there's some ways that we do worship here at HeavenEarth Church. It's a very conversational style of worship. People interact with the pastor, Ross, and in many different ways. And for some people, that's just quite different than their experience of church. Tell me what your observation of it is. Do you think, does it work for you? And kind of how did you react to it when you
I
first?
love it. It's similar to 2 churches ago. My most recent church of 10 years isn't like that at all because it's so large. You just can't do that. The format doesn't work for that.
Right.
And so I've missed that. I've missed testimonies or people learning other people's thoughts on things.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that. That was one of the draws for me. Really like that very much.
Good. The mission, the statement of HeavenEarth Church states, and it's on banners we have, on website and other places, that we exist to make a lasting impact in our community. Just in your observation, the several months that you've been around, is that a true statement? And if so, how have you experienced that?
It's true from what I've read and from what I've seen. Personally, I can't participate in a lot of the outreaching things at the moment because I'm a little careful about how much time I'm spending away from my husband.
Sure, of course.
Like I said, that with that being in different churches at the moment, I'm a little cautious about that. But
Right.
that's something, ultimately, what I would like to do. I would like to see both of us here and living closer because community, it's stirring so strongly in my heart, but I can't seem to manifest it where I live. I'm from a small town. I'm much more comfortable in a small town. I'd like to get back to a small town where I can know the people in my area. I really don't know people in Brown County.
Okay.
And so that's something I would like to see, but something I see emphasized here a lot.
Yeah. So the community aspect, both serving the community, but also community in terms of developing relationships are important to you. And it just sounds like there's a little bit of transitions going on, learning,
Can't get there
growing,
yet, but I want to.
that type of thing going on with
Yeah.
you. Very good. Very good. Well, you mentioned that you don't have a lot of relationships in the community where you live, but I've seen you developing acute relationships here, and I know that you've family and so on that you live with. But I want to put this kind of a scenario in your mind. Um, let's just say that you have somebody in your life, Jen, who has confided in you about something going on in their life. This may have been a coworker, former coworker, friend, family, neighbor, whatever, and they've got something distressing. It could be whatever. It could be spiritual. It could be marital. It could be financial. It could be job related. Any number of things. But they've confided in you
Mhm.
and trust you in that. Do you think you would be comfortable enough with them to say, I'd like to invite you to have our church as a part of your process? I'm going to be helpful to you, but as a part of your process of helping you to navigate what's going on in your life. Would that be a part of, would you be, to play out this scenario with me? Do you think that would work for you?
Yeah. This is the first church I would have answered yes to that. Um, the churches I've attended in the last 30 years have been more Pentecostal and exuberant in their worship services, which that's not everyone's taste.
Hmm.
Um, so I haven't always felt real comfortable inviting people to church, but I would very much here. In fact, I have invited people here.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Well, that's the greatest affirmation of what the question I asked there, if you've actually done it.
Yeah.
So then I just to kind of bring us around here, and first of all, I just want to thank you for being part of our conversation. It's been a joy to get to know you, and in our small group and things that we're involved with.
Oh, thanks.
But I'd like you to kind of speak. You're a person who has really used the tools that Heaven Earth Church has to offer in terms of worship, the small groups, the groups that have to do with the disciplines of the church or with the doctrine of the church. So you're taking every avenue to learn everything you can. You're being very assertive about it and very affirming about it. And you're a sponge, soaking things up, but also sharing them with others in your way.
Mhm.
I know you take notes of sermons. I've seen you take notes of small group we're part of. You've got, take notes even of the podcast episodes we've done and that kind of thing. So, but I want you to speak right now for Jen for the first who's kind of like Jen, who is a real researcher,
Mhm.
a real person who says, I'm going to do my homework about this church, about the people here, about what they're about. So I'd just like you to speak to anyone who may be checking out this podcast about they're doing their research. What would you share with that person, but why they might want to check out HeavenEarth Church?
Well, that's easy because that's exactly what I did. Lucy we used to meet for coffee every week, and she would tell me about the church, and I was getting interested, and I was wanting to come and visit with her at the church. So I started listening to several of the sermons online. And then I listened to a lot of the sermons online, and then I started listening to the podcasts like we're doing here and getting to know people so that when I did come, I knew what to expect, and I knew some faces right off the bat, and and I could say, meet someone and say, I got to listen to your podcast, and I know a little bit about you, and hoping to get to know you better. Um, so yeah, that was a good way to go. And then the small groups, you can't meet someone you can't know someone well in 5 minutes before church, so, it's been nice having those small
Yeah.
groups. I really, really like that.
I think churches that work well are healthy. Basically, have two types of groups. They have large groups, which is worship, things like that,
Yeah.
and smaller groups,
I agree.
which is either small group Bible studies or social groups. The people who do some of the service projects, any number of things, and you have availed yourself to both of those. And I think I'm also hearing you say, given some of the things you've shared about your past experiences, that if someone's going to check out Heaven Earth Church, it's a safe place, kind of a non-judgmental place where they would have the opportunity to check it out on their own pace.
Mhm. Yes.
Is
Yeah.
that a fair thing? Anything else you want to
Sure.
share about that?
I'd like to say also, about the non-judgmental, I've been judged, so
Hmm.
I appreciate, coming here
So
and not being
so you felt a little bit of that, kinda that, pressure or that squeamishness that comes when you feel judged, and you're not feeling that here. So, well, any final words you wanna share with the folks maybe listening to this before we say goodbye?
well, come and try it. You've got lots of opportunity to, check it out ahead of time if you're not comfortable being in the building, um, but, yeah, come for the service. It's just a lot of fun.
I love that. I love what you said there, Jen, about come and try it, come and see. Basically, that's what Jesus said. Come check it out, come see what it's all about, and then come follow me. So I just want to say again what a joy it has been to get to know you here on the podcast and in small groups we are a part of, and in the life of the church. And also, you just brighten up my day, and I see how you just brighten people up
Thank you.
when you're around them, and that's a joy. Her name is Jenn Rice. She's one of the incredible people that you can get to know here at Heaven Earth Church, and we hope that you'll give a church that has a mission to exist to make a lasting impact to people a try. We are located on our main campus, located on Main Street in Wayland, Indiana. Our main service is at 9:30 Eastern Time uh, on. Uh, uh, on both online and in person. And you can always check us out online here at the Heaven Earth Church podcast. I'm the producer of the podcast and speaking for our pastor, Ross Stackhouse. Thank you for joining us here on the Heaven Earth Church podcast.